Hello, my name is Brant Hunt. Uh, Today is the fourth day of January 2023. I'm going to continue to read from the Redemption Manual that I bought a couple months ago. That is Redemption Manual 4.5, and we're going to continue what we stopped at, continue where we stopped earlier today, and we're going to deal with a particular area called bait and switch versus contract acceptance. So I hope that you're having a good evening. I wish you well as we continue to explore our way of how to become a secure party creditor. Every contract consists of both a offer and acceptance. In every contract, there is a offerer and acceptor. The offerer being the tail and the acceptor the head. Under contract law, title to whatever is offered transfers instantaneously upon acceptance, not upon payment like many seem to think. Payment is a consideration, is merely incidental. Attorneys and lawyers who write every contract used by corporations, including government corporations, know that the acceptor of the contract is in charge, or what is known as the holder in due course. Holder in due course is defined as title holder of the contract. Thus, whenever you see any advertisement in the paper by, as an example, a new car dealer offering you a new car at a certain price and you're attracted by what is offered, you are responding to a offer. You run right down to the car dealer and without knowing it, become the victim of the oldest game of bait and switch and resistance. Here's how the real shakedown works, you see. After you settle on the car with all its options and the price for the dealership, you then sign your name to a contract, which is doing so makes you the offerer and the dealership the acceptor of that offer. It works the same identical way at every retail sale in the country, including real estate. You lose because the seller is the holder of the contract, you see, and is in charge. And normally the contract is to their benefit, not yours. No quid pro quo, and certainly no mention of or understanding as to no lawful money, only commercial paper. That is the reason why you only get a carbon or a photocopy of the contract. They keep the original contract and original signatures and immediately enter the property into commerce as the lawyers intended. It's a diabolical scheme, you see. Whenever a government or corporation sends you a letter, indictment, or anything else charging that you violated some statute or code, or that you owe some sort of tax or fine, think of that as a offer by the government. But see, you don't have to take that offer, you see. Okay. For example, let's say you receive a bill for property tax. This is an offer by the tax office, just like the new car dealer. There are several options that you have when you get the bill. The number one option, which most people take, is to write out a check for the amount due. A check, of course, is a debt instrument. Thus, you are making a counteroffer to the tax collector, whom they, of course, will accept. But the debt has not been extinguished. It is simply added to the public debt. Once again, you have become the victim of bait and switch. Let's use the same example as we previously discussed, and this time let's use a different tactic. Remember that the acceptor is in charge. This time, let's simply accept the tax bill for value with the right to discharge after the IRS has established agreement with you, as your only remedy is commercial discharge of the tax liability. When you examine your property tax bill, you find out it is made out to the name, preferably yours, in all capital letters, which, as you already discovered, is not you. It is a fictional created by the government. If you've done your homework, you obtain a certified copy of your birth certificate from the Bureau of Vital Statistics in the state where you were born and have filed your UCC-1 financial statement. Now you control all rights and interest in that all capital letter name character, including all contracts, mortgages, and pledges. You're now in charge of anything dealing with your debtor or slash fiction. It works the same way with Internal Revenue Service. They send a fiction, that is a tax bill for $20,000. You as a secure party creditor, as the debtor slash fiction, you accept their presentment for value. Place a value of $20,000, for example, on it, and notify whoever sent you the presentment that you can request a copy of the petitional tax return, that is C appendix. You can request this because all of the money created uses your credit slash labor as collateral. The amount you use is dollar for dollar. Acceptance for value. Once the real live flesh and blood man, woman, has filed a UCC-1 financial statement supported with security agreements in place, taking all rights, titles, and interests in the all cap letter fiction artificial person, that very so-called name may be spelled with a first name, middle initial, and a last name. Or straw man, woman, when a person, that is an agency or other public or private corporation, submits a letter, bill, or form presentment suggesting that you, when in reality the fiction is being charged with debt, taxes, or whatever. A personalized letter is sent to the person who signed the letter or form, or to the person responsible for the letter or form or bill being sent to the fiction. That letter explains that you, the real deal, accept the charge for value. This basically tells them you hold title to the fiction and anything connected to your fiction. It gives them notice that they have committed a trespass against your property, your rights. It sets in stone that you are the holder in due course. This is a banker/security term and requires a quick refresher definition. In every contract, there must be an offer, acceptance, and consideration. Corporations specialize in bait and switch tactics to protect themselves in every contractual agreement, such as when you see a home you like, the real estate agent may have offer the home for sale through various advertisements. This is an offer. You look at the home, like it, and the price is right. You tell the real estate agent, yes, I'll take it. At that point, you have become the acceptor of the contract. And of course, the home and price is the consideration. From a legal standpoint, this contract is complete. The offer accepted and consideration are completed right then. The acceptor is the one in charge. That at that moment could be you. You see, then comes the old switcheroo. Now it's when the bait switch goes down. The real estate agent, unwittingly, as though ignorance of the law is any excuse or defense, then requires you to fill out a form in which you make an offer, and they, the seller, become the acceptor. The bait and switch is complete. It's that simple. You have now voluntarily become a debtor forever. Even if you pay cash for the place or later pay off the mortgage, why? Why can't you pay it off? You cannot extinguish debts with a debt instrument. You see, Federal Reserve notes debt plus debt equals debt. Credit minus debt equals zero. And the debt is discharged as a promise to pay. So you have voluntarily made someone else the holder in due course of the property. They accepted the instrument, that is contract, for value. They now own the property. You see, all parts of the contract, including the deed, are now recorded in the proper records. Look at your deed. It will have the fiction written in all caps letter it will have the fictions written in all capital letters. All we really do is add to the so-called national debt whenever you pay those taxes and make that counter offer. The debt, however, does not change and remains the same whenever you purchase anything in that manner. As an example, when you receive a notice of property taxes on your home, the taxing authority is really making you an offer. When you pay the taxes, you're making a counter offer because your payment will not extinguish the debt or cancel it out. They'll accept your counter offer, but the debt will still be there. And that's what we forget to see. You see, we think we're paying that debt off, but in reality, how can you pay it off when the money itself is fiat currency? It's a debt instrument, you see. And they're going to use it, you see, but you have swallowed what they say something's a bait and switch here. By the way, the notice of property tax due will be made out to your fictional debtor. Keep these things in mind when you purchase a home, land, automobile, open a bank account, apply for a license, etc. You must make the contract, make the seller the offerer and yourself, the real flesh and blood man with your name spelled correctly. The acceptor of the offer. This puts you officially in charge. You will be the holder in due course. You keep the original contract and keep the offer a copy. Give the offer a copy. Do not record the contract unless you want to give up the allodial title to the property. Recordings are not required as you are the sovereign, and the original contract is all you need to prove and establish ownership. You will want to do a UCC3 amendment filing and add the newly acquired property to your commercial affairs. Now, with the explanation covered, let's move to the person/agency that wrote the letter or sent the bill, that is to presentment, charging that your debtor owes something. Understand that as a bill, that is a bill, any bill such as an electric bill, water bill, or credit card bill is part of a total amount due, and therefore there may be a larger dollar amount at issue here to deal with. And as I applied to some matter dealing with a contract, i.e. credit card, not only is there that larger amount total due, there's also the issue as to agreement/contract as to was there a meeting of the minds as to the contract? Was there fraud in the contract? Was it an unconscionable contract? To address the above issues as to a contract, you can utilize the conditional acceptance for value for proof of claim to allow the other side to provide proof of claim that there was a meeting of the minds, that there was no fraud or in the contract, or that it was not an unconscionable contract. At which time, per your agreement, you will continue to pay on and pay the contracted debt. The proofs of claim are presented in closing caveat paragraphs stipulate that the other side agrees to accept by and through their silence and general acquisition. See Section 6-8. See Section 6-CAFB for details. After filing UCC1 financial statement sometime later, you may request and pay discharge via money order for a certified copy of your UCC1. Though it's not absolutely necessary, the computer printed acknowledgement copy of UCC1 is self-evident. It speaks for itself. Or the hard copy from a mail-in filing, or a hard copy paste up from your computer filing. See Section 5. You are now the holder in due course of the property known as the debtor's-straw man, the property, collateral, and any contract, implied or otherwise, associated with your debtor. You now have effectively filed a superior security interest in the same. In respect to the presentment or offer, you can draft a letter stating, I am the holder in due course, as referenced to page 23, second paragraph above. Then, because you have become the acceptor of the presentment or offer, guess who is in charge? You are in charge, and the offer has been notice of your status. Keep in mind, as a secure party creditor, it is your duty and responsibility to accept for value and discharge the debt liability of your debtor via the presentment that comes in. In the commercial venue, all transactions take place with your debtor, and you're the creditor, so accept and discharge. See Section 6, the discharge of debt, as applied today for your edification, so that you may understand the reality before you run out there and start discharging. Now, take advantage of the benefits of UCC1 financial statement or having the security and protection of a security agreement in place to protect you, your family, possessions, property, and wages. The comprehensive security agreement, as found in this book, is non-dischargeable by any title to bankruptcy court. It is fully 100% transferred to any heir or assign. The secure agreement carries a fully functional fidelity bond and indemnity clause. The collateral covered is extensive. Learn to use and file UCC1 forms, UCC-3s, acceptance for value process, copy certification by document custodian, and exclusively tort process. Keep an exact record of color copies of your documents, proofs, or services. Post office green cards. Mail recipient. Firm mailing book page is a binder with all documents in those protected plastic sheets. This is really imperative to keep your records exact and at your fingertips when needed. So I'm going to stop here and take a little break. Then I'm going to come back and look on to more of this, okay? So we'll be right back in a little bit. So I appreciate you listening. And we'll be right back probably within the next 15 minutes as we begin to deal with a particular different subject as we continue to teach ourselves how to discharge debt. But the reality simply is that we need to understand that we're the security party creditor here, okay? We'll be right back